Hey everyone, welcome back. So we haven't done one of these highlight sales videos in a little while, but today we have a game that definitely deserves to be highlighted, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge getting its first major discount. It's now 20% off, $19.99, and will be running till October 3rd. Now in today's video, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of the game. You could even maybe consider this a mini review, since we never officially did a full review on the channel, but I did do a full playthrough of the game on stream, and I'll be linking that down below if ever you want to check out the whole thing. But we'll be going over the major points of the game, the things that I really loved about it, and if there are any things that maybe I slightly was disappointed. And even by the end of the video, I'll be giving my official score on the game. However, we won't be using the regular full review format. I'm aiming at this being a slightly shorter video, really to highlight the fact that the game is on sale, because at this point, I think that most people interested in this game already have a pretty good idea of what it's offering. Lastly, I do want to mention I'll be using footage from the stream of the game, so if ever you see me in the bottom right of the corner and the voice isn't quite syncing up, that's the reason why. So first of all, if you have no knowledge at all what this game is about, it's a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up. And it's a revival of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise that was pretty much at its height when it was represented in the genre during the 90s on the Super Nintendo Genesis and also in the arcades. Now, there have been other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games since those. However, I would say that most of them would be considered disappointments, with maybe the exception of the Game Boy Advanced game that actually was developed by the same company that did this game. And I've got to tell you, from a personal perspective, the revival of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise in a decent video game format was one that I was hoping for quite a while. Now, the storyline here is very heavily nostalgia influenced, basing itself off of the most popular entries from the SNES and Genesis era, which is pretty much Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist, with Krang starting out the game by stealing the Statue of Liberty. So now it's up to our 4 heroes in a half shell, accompanied by their master Splinter, April O'Neil, and eventually the unlockable Casey Jones, to go out and get the statue back. Now, the two main gameplay modes that you'll be choosing in between is the story mode, which will give you slight cutscenes and an overworld map that you'll have to work your way through. This mode also offers slight character progression, where you'll actually unlock moves as you work your way throughout the storyline, and eventually even an ultimate move that is exclusive to this gameplay mode. If you want a more streamlined and arcade-like experience, well, you have the arcade mode that is pretty much a straight progression through the levels, and you'll always have the same moveset from the get-go. I would also say that those seeking a real challenge will aim more towards the arcade mode as well, as the hardest challenge comes within that mode. Now, gameplay-wise, everything is extremely smooth, and it's once again very heavily influenced by what a lot of people would consider the best entries in the series, as I pointed to earlier, Turtles in Time. If you played that game, if you were used to playing it, it will not take you very long to adapt to the game system right here. But they haven't just taken the old system and revamped it, they've made a lot of modern improvements, especially from the approachability side, with multiple difficulty selections, and with up to 6-player local and online co-op. And then if we move on to the art style and music, it is perfection for this type of game. The pixel art is beautiful. The turtles actually have the attitudes you recognize from the 80s cartoon series. And you can tell that this game was done with people that actually know the source material and have a passion and love for it. And to me, the soundtrack in this game is no different. It totally slaps, in my opinion. I did hear some purists out there say that they were disappointed that some of the tracks were revamped versions of the originals, and the originals were not available. However, if I base myself off of the overall experience the music is delivering, and whether it's enhancing the gameplay, I was very satisfied with what this game was offering. Now, overall, I immediately fell in love with this game, and I really enjoyed it. So trying to find things that were disappointing about it is a little bit tough. However, if I have to be totally honest, I would say I would have liked to have a little bit extra content. And the fact that they said that there was one unlockable character, but they actually had already announced Casey Jones being in the game, sort of ruined the surprise of who that unlockable character was going to be when he wasn't in the original selection screen. So personally, I would have preferred that they would have kept him a secret, or they would have included a true 7th hidden character. And lastly, overall, I would say that content-wise, I would have maybe enjoyed 1 or 2 extra gameplay modes. Because although I've played through the game about 3 or 4 times now, I've got to say that if you're not a die-hard fan of beat-em-ups, this could be a one-and-done game for some people out there. That is, at least till you have friends come over and you break it out for some awesome co-op play. Also, on a final note, originally I had mentioned that the online play for the game was a little wonky, but I'm glad to report that it's been patched up and now it works just fine. And finally, my score for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge would be a 9, putting it at the low end of an excellent game. For a Turtles fan, for a beat-em-up fan, this is offering an amazing experience. However, if you compare it to something like Streets of Rage 4, there is slightly more content and unlockables in Streets of Rage 4, and I would actually say that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game would be really enhanced by a little bit of DLC. And in all honesty, with the right kind of DLC, this game could actually hit that 10 out of 10. That was it for today's highlight video on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge getting its first ever sale, putting it now at $19. And you know what? For a 9 out of 10 game, $19.99 is a heck of a deal. Now, I'd really like to hear from you all in the comments down below. Did you like this type of video? If so, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and click on that notification bell so you know when all my future content comes out. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.